In our earlier episode, we mentioned that the CCP is planning to make China become the world's #1 country for organ transplantation in 2023. Some netizens were worried about whether it will force ordinary Chinese people to donate their organs. Clearly, this article proved that the worry of netizens is not superfluous. According to NetEase News, a Fudan University economics professor said the government should make it a default option for citizens to give their consent to donate their organs. Someone replied, "The CCP has been robbing people's wealth. Now it has already begun to rob their organs. They used to do so secretly. Now they are planning to do so in an open manner." Someone replied, "Does this imply as long as the CCP designates someone's cause of death as non-suspicious, it can forcibly remove his or her organs? If this is indeed the case, then it is obvious that its agenda of turning China into the world's top state for organ transplantation will soon be achieved." Someone replied, "This is called nationalization of organs." Someone replied, "Please don't ever think that the CCP only targets Falun Gong for organ harvesting. The third-generation ID cards now store physical health information. If necessary, the CCP can disappear someone instantaneously after performing a check about organ transplantation-related data on a computer. Hundreds of thousands of children, college students, and young people disappear every year. Although there are hundreds of millions of cameras on the streets, why is it that the local police bureaus simply don't want to help find them?" Someone replied, "In China, facial recognition technology has also been adopted in zoos, while previously only fingerprint recognition was used." Someone replied, "Many types of mobile phone apps all use facial recognition technology when logging in." Someone shared this video taken at Shanghai's Pudong Airport. Someone replied, "This is real. It happened because there was an outbreak of the epidemic among employees in the western area of Pudong Airport. All the places that he has been to have been closed." Someone replied, "They plan to shut down the entire airport and have all the staff tested, but later claimed it was too crowded, so the testing wasn't done." Someone replied, "Zhouputang has been under lockdown." Someone replied, "The South Railway Station has also cancelled its existing schedule." Someone shared that a Chinese professor calculated revenues generated from the epidemic. She said that the battle against the epidemic in 2020 generated about 67 trillion yuan worth of revenue, accounting for about 2/3 of the total annual GDP. The revenue was divided into two parts. One was health revenue, which is about 56 trillion yuan, including the revenue from avoiding infection, death, disability, and decline in the number of cases. The second part was the revenue generated from fighting the epidemic, which implies protective equipments, vaccine, testing, which was about 11 trillion yuan. Someone mocked, "If this is indeed the case, then the CCP should let go of all the control measures and seek to worsen the epidemic situation." Someone replied, "This so-called epidemic economy is another manifestation of Keynesianism. This argument is the same as one made in the broken window fallacy." Someone mocked, "There should be another revenue, that is, massive number of deaths, partially relieve the pressure of pension shortage." Someone replied, "This is the 2.0 version of disaster economics in 1998. Someone replied, "Do the 400,000 lives lost in Wuhan and the lives lost throughout the whole world due to the pandemic unleashed by the CCP have nothing to do with it anymore?" On November 20th, Chinese doctor who led China's response to the pandemic, Zhong Nanshan, also admitted that in the Wuhan area, the death rate was close to 40%. Someone replied, "As of March 18th of 2020, the CCP announced that the number of infections was 81,000 and the death toll was 3,200. Compared with figures released by other nations at the present, it is clear that the CCP has told an unpardonable lie. In this video, Chinese professor Jin Canrong shared some details about the confrontation at the Sino-Indian border and revealed an important message.
这两个山头很重要，用了这个微波武器，把那个山顶变成了一个微波炉，然后上面的人1刻钟以后全部开始呕吐，站不起来跑了。
Someone replied, what the CCP used in that confrontation is actually an infrasound generator that it has also been using against netizens and ordinary people with dissenting voices. This device has a directional emission function, which can easily cause concussions. Someone replied, I have suffered from this kind of attack before. It is not a neuropsychiatric problem, but a real physical phenomenon. Someone shared, the CCP has actually been studying brain control technology for more than 20 years. Military scientific research institutions, universities, and other units have all participated in this effort. In China, many people have been victimized by the CCP's controlled experiments, despite without giving consent to participate. Someone replied, I remember that some staff member of the U.S. consulate in Guangzhou had symptoms similar to those resulted from being attacked by microwaves. Someone replied, even Russia defined this as a weapon, but the CCP uses this against civilians and has been doing so for the past 30 years. This video was said to be taken in Portland, Oregon. The Antifas are on the streets again. Someone wondered, where did the governor and mayor go? Why did they not take actions against them? Someone replied, it is actually quite easy to quell kiosks if they want to, but these state and local governments intentionally ignored them. Someone replied, I only recently learned about what a well-connected organization Antifa is in the US. It has some military background. The guerrilla tactics it employed actually were used by Mao. Someone replied, someone predicted decades ago that fascism will appear in the form of anti-fascism in the future. Someone shared these pictures of Antifa. Someone shared this cartoon and said, Biden is a disguise of the CCP Trojan Horse. The illustrator of this piece is Mr. Guo Jingxiong, also known as Da Xiong.
Child, we will take you in. Child, we will bring you home. You'll be a flower that sees the spring.